Well, hello, friends, and thank you for starting your week off with us here on the Daily Connection. It's a time when we get together in the Word. More importantly, Word gets into us. We're starting a new sub-series underneath this series, Loving Your Neighbor. And this week we're talking about, what does love look like? What's the outworking of that? I'm a little bit jealous because in your Connect groups, you were able to go through the beautiful Holy Spirit-inspired words of 1 Corinthians 13 that have been repeated, memorized, put to song, and rightfully so, because there we see, in terms of maybe a definition, if you will, this beautiful elaboration of the very essence of what agape love is. But we also know that in the life of Jesus, there was a demonstration of what love looks like as well. And so we're going to start off today in John chapter 15, verse 9, where Jesus is continuing to prepare his disciples for his departure. We call it the upper room discourse. And in chapter 15, verse 9, he says this: "As the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Remain in my love." So first of all, we need to understand a little bit of the construction that's going on here in the word love. The way it's formed in the Greek, it means a once for all time event or experience or action. And so we need to know that this is a love that is full and complete in the sense of time. The Father has loved the Son, the Father loves the Son, and the Father will always love the Son. That perfect bond of love has always existed, will always exist. And so there's one aspect of love being full and complete in time. Secondly, there's the idea of this love being complete as far as there's no inconsistencies with it. There's no incompleteness to it. There's no inadequacies to it. It is a complete and perfect love. The reason why I'm explaining it that way, because Jesus then says that same love that he's experienced from the Father, he says, is the same love that he's directed toward his disciples. Which kind of goes to the question that the writer asked in the student edition, saying, how did Jesus show love to people? Well, let's think about this group specifically. He says, I have loved you the same way. And it's the same construction in the Greek, meaning it's something that has been done for all time. It is done, it is complete, it's not inadequate, it is sufficient, fully sufficient. So what does that look like practically? Well, we could say that Jesus showed love to his disciples in, first of all, selecting his disciples. They weren't the cream of the crop. They didn't come out of the best rabbinical schools. Most of them came off the seashore while washing their nets. They were fishermen. One of them came out of a tax collector's booth, of all places. One was a zealot. One was even a possessed man who would eventually come against Jesus. And yet these were the ones that he selected. And so one way he showed his love was in selecting them. The other way was in protecting them. Oftentimes they could have been placed in a position where they would have been humiliated. And maybe who knows what that effect would have had on them. And yet Jesus stood in the gap. And then in those times when they needed to experience the challenges, he took to the side so that they could grow and they could mature in their faith. Like the times where they were tested by the storms and Jesus was at peace and they said, what's wrong with you? So we see Jesus loving them and helping them to grow in that time, not immediately removing the stress or removing the issue that was challenging their faith. We see also his love in sanctifying them. Well, let me back up for a moment. In saving them. We're in the shadows of the cross right now. I mean, literally in the shadows of the cross. And we know that through the cross, he would bring about the salvation that they must have in order to truly experience God's love fully and completely. So he loved them through saving them. He loved them through sanctifying them. Then that he had been working with them in terms of knowledge and understanding and seeing, and now he was going to give them the Holy Spirit to continue that work of sanctification. There's so many different ways, and if we move outside the apostles, he loved people by engaging them, the outcast, the rejected, all those. He loved them not because they deserved it or earned it, but because of his love, purely by the motive of his love. And you see, he tells them to remain in my love. Well, what does that have to do with the way he loved them? It was his love. It was only because of his love that they were the children of God. It was only because of his love that they were being transformed into his very image. It was only because of his love that they could look forward, hoping, with tremendous hope toward his return, and they're spending eternity with him. And the same is true for us. It's only because of his love that we enjoy his salvation. It is only because of his love that he continues to work out our sanctification, transforming us into his image. And it's only because of his love that we have the sustaining hope that if we were to die, that we will be with him. Or if we were to remain until he returns, that we will be called up with him. One way or another, we will spend eternity with Jesus. And friends, that is a sustaining, securing love. And that's the essence of love. And that's how Jesus loved. So my encouragement for you today is this: walk in his love. Find the encouragement you need in the midst of discouragement in his love. Find the hope that you need in the midst of a hopeless situation in his love. And find the help that you need as you continue on this journey towards sanctification in the help of his love. I love you, Faith family. I pray your week starts off well. Let the love of Christ rule and reign in our hearts. Let us faithfully represent that love in how we engage others as we are going about the process of living sent.